la! Your dream vacation to Hong Kong starts from rupees 74,999 only with GT Holidays, South India's #1 travel brand.
For example, Bachchan sir's first question was, how are you going to make me 8 feet? Prove it first. It took, 9 months, I think, 10 months maybe.
To convince him?
To get him on board. Like, we were shooting the whole film except his scenes because we knew his scenes were not too many. I've seen a few that have come to me, like for example, Dulquer being Parashuram or things like that. I think they're very interesting. It's not what I had in mind. It's amazing because, like I was just telling you, like I was this fanboy for Game of Thrones before like season 6 came out or something. I would read every fan theory, every breakdown, where they'd stop at one blurry frame and circle something and say, this is what this means. And I was that guy. So it's so amazing that we have a film that we can call our own and do the same thing too. What I really like about Prabhas is that, like, a very everyday sort of person. He has a sense of humor. He is a bit lazy. It's all of that which I really also found in Bhairava. It's whatever story we started in part 1, we'll finish in part 2. But like we started off with that animated series, there's going to be another couple of episodes of that. There could be a spin-off of characters. In theory, they should all come in the Kali. They all should come in the Kalki Purana, whatever this is. So that is going to happen, but not in the next part.
But are you promising that you're not going to take so much time to come back with the next one?
Definitely not 4 years, yeah.
Chalo, lovely, lovely.
To make it as a standalone thing, of course, I think Rajamouli sir has a plan. I think he's going to go ahead and do that at some point.
You know the biggest part and the best part about Kalki 289980? Yes, of course, the visual effects were amazing. But I think an entire country and its countrymen and women felt represented. Kalki, a film which had representation from all the film industries that make up the Indian film industry. There was a Bengali film actor, there were Telugu film actors, there were Hindi film actors, there was a Tamil film actor, and of course there was a song which was sung by Diljit Dosanjh. I think only Nagi sir could have done this. Thank you for doing this for Galatta India, and first of all, congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
When you were planning the whole thing, you know, the best part, I read that, I'm going to start off with this. There was a video where a girl who didn't know about the film, who didn't understand, who was coming and saying, mujhe to aise movies nahi dekhne. It really infuriated all us cinema lovers, because we are all for cinema and we want cinema to win eventually. I think that when I watched the movie and I saw the representation, was this always a part of the planning? That everybody, it's actors from all the film industries coming together.
It was actually a conscious idea. Like there's Malayalam, there's Kannada representation as well. There was one thought process early on when we were doing casting that we wanted an actor from every state in the country and maybe every major ethnicity across the world. So you'd find Africans, you'd find Caucasians, you'd find Asians, different kind of Asian communities represented. We went to the Northeast to cast. We went all over the place. I don't think we succeeded, but we came close, I think.
No, I'm sure, because I missed Malayalam, and how could I? Because, oh my God, that cameo. Everybody is raving about it. We'll come to that. But sir, this is a film.
Yeah.
Today people have watched it. People have understood the world of Kalki. But before people would have watched it, there could have been many apprehensions. Not just from us as viewers, but also from actors who you would have wanted to be a part of it. Right? This is mainly a storyboard film.
Yeah.
How many people actually, what were the questions that your cast asked you?
I mean, for example, Bachchan sir's first question was, how are you going to make me 8 feet? Prove it first.
So how did you prove it?
We just showed him like a lot of concept arts and I begged to trust me. I think all the actors, especially the 4 main actors in the film who are the biggest actors in our country in a way, and they're also at the peak of their game. For them to agree to do this was a big deal. So they had a few narrations, they listened to the story in detail, but they all understood that the core of what we were trying to do was so new so ambitious and maybe in a way so important also for the film industry that they all came on board. I think that once they came on board, they didn't look back. There were no doubts there. But I think that enabled this film more than anything else.
But in an interview, you had said that you were still planning to cast for Supreme Yaskin. And when did you think of Kamal sir? Did you also have other options in your mind?
We had a few options, but I think the biggest wish list was Kamal sir. And maybe somewhere along the line, we had a couple of narrations, and Kamal sir just had the biggest hit of his career in Vikram.
Yes.
And I sort of thought it was not going to happen. And I was actually willing to move on, but this credit fully goes to Swapna, and she fully pushed for it, literally stalked, hounded, and bargained and did whatever it took to get Kamal sir on board. And a few narrations later, he was on board. It took, 9 months, I think, 10 months maybe.
To convince him?
To get him on board. We were shooting the whole film except his scenes, because we knew his scenes were not too many.
Yeah, in the first part.
In the first part, so we had that liberty. Yeah.
After watching Kalki, when I came out of the theatre, it was about the visual experience. But today, there are so many theories. It's incredible. Everybody has a different thing to say. And if you go and watch those videos or read those posts, you'll feel like everybody makes sense.
Right.
Have you read any of them?
I've seen a few that have come to me. For example, Dulquer being Parashuram or things like that. I think they're very interesting. It's not what I had in mind.
But will you incorporate that now, maybe?
Had a different plan for Parashuram, but yeah.
Okay.
But no, there was. But there's so many things. There's so many things that it's amazing because, I was just telling you, I was this fanboy for Game of Thrones before season 6 came out or something. I would read every fan theory, every breakdown, where they'd stop at one blurry frame and circle something and say, this is what this means. And I was that guy. So it's so amazing that we have a film that we can call our own and do the same thing too. And it probably I probably didn't think so much, but it's awesome that they're doing it.
I have a theory.
Yeah.
After reading up, yesterday I spent, I was up till 4:30, there were sheets of paper everywhere, and then I've narrowed it to these 4 pages.
Okay.
And I feel like, before I tell you what I think, I feel one thing that has magically happened is that everybody is going back and reading the Mahabharata again. We've grown up watching Mahabharata. But that, yesterday I realized that it's such a minuscule part of Mahabharata that has been a part of our life growing up. It's a part of our culture. There are so many characters that have never been explored, never been spoken about. Have you read the entire Mahabharata? How did you manage to, somebody who doesn't have knowledge that great wouldn't be able to connect all those, the Bhairav elements, the Sumati, everything. I think when I read up, it's completely connects.
Right. I did read it during the scripting stage. There was this English translation which is 10 volumes big. I have read it, and I think it's the most beautiful, complex piece of writing ever attempted. Even the most secondary of secondary characters is written with the depth and detail that our best scripts don't have. So I think it's great. Yeah.
But my theory is that I feel Kalki is gonna be Vijay.
It's going to be Vijay.
Yeah.
How?
I feel I've read somewhere that Kalki is somewhere connected to Arjuna, and Arjuna is connected to Vishnu, and in a lot of other ways. I've written it down. And there's a connection between Arjuna and Kalki said in the Mahabharata, so I feel like there would be that.
Is it? I don't know. I didn't think so. I don't. I think the Pandavas were all elements in a way, right? Arjuna was the gift, in a way, the descendant of the lightning element, which was Indra.
Absolutely.
And obviously Karna was Surya, and each of them were, the twins were the Ashwini Nakshatra. I don't know. Each of them I remember were elements, Bhima was, I think, the earth element or something. So it was all like that. I didn't know they have a divine connect, because whenever you have a Sri Vishnu or a Shiva avatar, that's a different ball game. That they play in a different universe as to these avatars of elements. They play in a different universe.
But you work with Prabhas up close and personal. He plays these really okay, the characters which has a lot of machismo.
Yeah.
He has that, but he's a gentle giant in reality.
Yeah.
Like, did you have like a lot of fans who meet him feel that whatever we see and what we see on like off screen is completely different because he's such a lovely, gentle person.
Yeah.
Did you have any such perception in the beginning when you met him? Do you remember your first meeting with him?
Yeah. He was extremely gentle, humble, very like polite. Like, please, sit down. Whatever, tell me what story you brought. And I think what I really like about Prabhas is that, like, a very everyday sort of person. He has a sense of humor. He is a bit lazy. It's all of that which I really also found in Bhairava. So Bhairava needs to be this machismo, fighter, warrior sort of guy, but he's also very real. He's everyday guy. He just wants some money to get some luxuries in life. That's all he wants.
Yeah.
He has a very simple goal. So I thought I wanted to see Prabhas like this. I think I was personally, I enjoy seeing him like this more than, the hitting and Todford and like all of that gory blood thing. So yeah.
At a time when, there are actresses, especially in different industries, saying that they don't feel that they're represented well in terms of writing. You are a director, you're a writer who writes parts for women where they feel represented, respected, acknowledged. Even like Deepika, of course, plays the pivotal part, and then there's Shobana ma'am, then there's Kaira.
Anna Ben, she's awesome.
And I think she's amazing. I think the little parts. Do you think that has come from your proximity towards strong women around you, whether it's your mom, whether it's your relatives, whether it's your wife, everybody?
Yeah, maybe, but it's also just the fact that some of the most interesting stories come from strong women, I think, by default. And I always felt Kaira was one of my most favorite characters. I'm glad you brought it up. She was so much fun to write and to film, and it turned out well too. So I mean, I don't write it consciously in that way, but I think it comes organically because, like, when you see a woman or a female character do a thing like this, it just gives more gravitas and more strength to the story.
Absolutely. And to present Amit ji like that, I don't think people from our generation have ever witnessed him in a film. Like, we've watched old films which our moms and fathers and our brothers have watched, but we've never had that film.
Yeah.
How did you convince him to do the action? And he does. I think he's the best.
I think he loves action also by default, and he's done so much action that he makes life easy for us. Like, he knows the small nuances to give to make it better than any action director, I feel. And with the aid of VFX and tech and everything, inadvertently this became like an amazing homage to the biggest action hero of our time. Yeah.
You're presenting it in a cinematic universe of its own. How many parts are you planning to make it into?
Right now, it's just the end of this part. Like, this whatever story we started in part 1, we'll finish in part 2. But like we started off with that animated series, there's going to be another couple of episodes of that. There could be a spin-off of characters either in anime or series of, for example, things like Kaira or things like the past of Mariam and Veeran and Manas. Like, how did they land up in this? There's a lot of things that could happen. Nothing's on paper yet, but.
But we had Ashwatthama. Do we get to see the other Chiranjeevis? Like you mentioned, Dulquer could be, like, people are saying that Dulquer could be Parashurama.
I mean, I think in theory they should all come in the Kali Yuga. They all should come in the Kalki Purana, whatever this is. So that is going to happen, but not in the next part. Yeah.
No spin-offs on there. Like, separate maybe movies in the universe.
I haven't thought of that yet. Brain space is not enough presently.
But are you promising that you're not going to take so much time to come back with the next one?
Definitely not 4 years, yeah.
Chalo, lovely, lovely. How much of it is being shot already?
About 20 days, I think. We shot about 20 days.
And a lot of people are actually, if you've gone and read those comments, they see that there are very few filmmakers who can do justice to the Mahabharata and the Ramayans that we've read up and grown up watching visually.
Yeah.
And they consider you to be one of them. There are so many people who want to see the entire Kurukshetra war. Is there a plan? Because the little parts that you put of the war, they've loved it, and it was amazing. Like it actually is
Yeah.
giving you goosebumps when we watch it. Is there a plan to put that maybe a part of this universe or otherwise?
I think it works really beautifully, at least with whatever skill set I have, to merge it with this world, to make it as a standalone thing. Of course, I think Rajamouli sir has a plan. I think he is going to go ahead and do that at some point. But I think it's a massive, mammoth undertaking, and it requires us to pull all the stops off as an industry, as a country, and just make it the biggest thing in the world. So that's a different ball game altogether.
Finally, jate, I will just tell you this, that today or yesterday, Swapna and Priyanka put up a post about how they were seeing trying times with the production house, and then all three of you actually have delivered one blockbuster after another, and not just that, like really high content pieces. In the beginning, when there was an all-time low that was happening, how many people discouraged you or like made you feel like they didn't believe in you? Have you seen that change today?
I mean, I would say, yeah. I mean, for an upcoming director or a new director, there would be a bunch of people. I would give more credit to Priyanka and Swapna, because there would have been many more people who told them to, steer clear of this guy, like him and his fancy ideas. Just steer clear of him. And they didn't. They stuck to their guns and they stuck with me. And I think full credit to them.
Thank you, because as a country, we feel represented.
Yeah.
And as a country, I feel so proud that a film like Kalki has been made and a universe like Kalki has been made, because it is so easy to just applaud people in the West who make such films at 100 times the budget.
Yeah.
But to do it in the budget that you've done might seem very high for people, but when they compare it to the Hollywood films and what you've delivered, I think you deserve thunderous applause. And I hope to see the next part. We wished that this movie never ended. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Hola! Your dream vacation to Hong Kong starts from rupees 74,999 only with GT Holidays, South India's #1 travel brand.